Okay then my friends, so now we're fetching a list of posts for the homepage and we can click on a post to go to the post details of that page, right? And because we added that slug to the href of the link, we can see the slug in the address bar up here after the blog part. And because we can access any route parameters like the slug from within a page component using the params prop, we're able to grab that slug and show it on the page as well. So then, now I want to use that slug to query Hygraph for a single post, including all of its actual content, and show that on the details page for each one. Alright, so let's head to the API playground then in the studio to build and test this query. And I'm going to make a new tab in here to start with a new blank query, and I'm going to call this post by slug because we'll be querying the post by the slug, right? We'll be using that slug to get a particular post. All right, so now let's select the single post option in the Explorer to query a single post. And then we want to select the where option to outline which post that we want to fetch. In our case, we want to do that where the slug matches a particular value. So we can see the slug option right here, which we can select. And right now, it's asking us for a slug value here to fetch a single post which has that slug value. Now later, when we add this to the project code, we'll be using a query variable to pass that slug in dynamically to the query. But right now, I'm just going to paste in a single slug value just so we can test this out. Alright then, so now it's only going to query that single post with that slug, and we just need to outline which fields that we want back. Now this time, we still want the title, right? And the summary, because we're going to show that at the top of the blog post. So I'm going to select both of those, but we don't need the thumbnail anymore because that was only for the blog list on the homepage. We do need the content field though, so let's add that. And since we'll be using the rich content component to render this, we'll also need to add the raw field to the content as well. And on top of this, we also want to display the author or the user who wrote this post. So we can add that by selecting the created by field, which is automatically added by Hygraph to content entries. And within that, we want the name of the person who created it. All right, so I think that's everything. And now we can hit the play button up here to make sure it all works, which it does. Awesome. We can see the post object response right here. So now let's copy this query and use it in our application. Alright, so now I want to add this query to the queries object in the Hygraph file. So let's first of all add a new property to that, and I'm going to call this post by slug. And the value of this property, like the others, should begin with Hygraph client, then .gql, followed by a template string where we can paste in the new query. And I'm just going to tidy this query up a little bit as well so it's formatted correctly. Now remember, we're currently hard coding a slug right into this query, and we need that slug value to be dynamic and passed into the query when we run it, because depending on what post we land on, that slug is going to be different. So to allow this, we're going to use a query variable. Now, when a query uses a variable that's allowed to be passed into the query, we have to specify that after the query name inside parentheses, just like we would for a function. And inside these parentheses, we can give this variable a name which must start with a $, followed by whatever we want to call it. For example, slug. Then we add a colon and we say what type of data this variable should be. And in our case, this slug should be a string with a capital S. So this type is not a JavaScript type, it's a GraphQL type. And the GraphQL server on Hygraph will enforce this type rule before it returns any data. And if we pass the wrong type, well, it's not going to work. So we're also going to add on an exclamation mark at the end of this type, which means the variable is non-nullable and we must pass a value for it. Okay, so now this query can accept the slug variable, and we can now use that variable in the query itself down here instead of hard coding the slug value. So let's replace that with $slug, which is the variable name. And now we have this query in place, we can go ahead and make a new server function inside the actions file, which uses this query to fetch the post. So then inside this file, we can make now a new function, which we also need to export, and I'm going to call this get post by slug. Again, it needs to be an asynchronous function because we'll be using a wait inside it to make the query. And this time, we're going to take an argument into this function called slug because we'll need to pass that slug into the query when we send it. All right, so now we can send this query by saying const response is equal to, and then it's await, and then queries, and we're going to use the post by slug query. And then we need the send method at the end of that. So how do we then pass the slug variable into the query? Well, this send method provided by that GraphQL package accepts an argument, which is an object. And on this object, we can specify any variables as properties that we want to pass into the query. So I could just add the slug property and set the value of that to be slug, which is the argument that we take into this server function. And because these are both named the same, we can just shorten this to be slug, and that does the same thing. Okay, so now we're making that query, we're passing the slug in, and finally, we just need to return the response. So let's do that down here by saying return, followed by response.post to return the post object on that response. All right, so we have this function created now, and we can use it inside the blog details page, which is in the app folder, then inside the blog folder, then inside the slug folder. So in Next.js, we can register route parameters in the route by using square brackets around the folder name, right? And whatever the value is in the URL, it's captured by Next.js and attached to a params prop, which automatically gets passed into the page component. So we can access whatever the parameter is called, in this case, slug, because that's what we name the folder, right, in square brackets, from that params prop like this. All right, so now we can use that slug parameter from the URL and we can pass it into that new server function that we just created. First of all then, I'm going to paste this import at the top of the file to get that server function from the actions file. Then I'm going to say const down here in the component, followed by some curly braces so we can destructure the properties that we want from the post object response. And for now, we'll just set this equal to await and then get post by slug. Then we'll invoke this action and we need to pass in the slug parameter. And remember, because we're using await here, this page component must also be an async one. So what properties do we want from the post then? Well, we want the title, we want the summary, and we want the content itself. Also, we want the created by property. And remember, the content property will have a raw field, which we'll use to render the rich content, and the created by property will have a name field, which we'll use to output the author name. All right then, so now we can start using these properties in this template. We're going to start with the title field, so we can replace this here with curly braces and then the title value. Below that, we can output the name of the author by replacing this with curly braces, and inside those, we can say created by .name. And then after that, we've got a section for the blog summary. So let's replace that bit with curly braces and then the summary field inside them. And next up is the content itself, which we're going to come back to in a moment. But before we do that, I want to just scroll down here to the sidebar, which is where we'll eventually be outputting more posts by this same author. So inside this, all I'm going to do for now is replace the generic by author text with curly braces and then output the created by .name value so that we're actually showing the author name instead, right? It's a little less generic. All right, so now we can go ahead and render the content using that same rich text component as before. So then to do that, first of all, I'm just going to make a quick import up here. And that import is going to be the rich text component from this package we installed earlier on in the course. And then down here, we can output this rich text component instead of this. Now, again, I'm just going to copy this and paste it in because we saw exactly how to use it before. We don't need to write this out from scratch, but we just use the rich text component. And then we have the content prop and we pass in the content.raw property right here. Remember, we grab the content up here. Then we specify the renderers, and all I want to do is update how we're rendering the H4s. So I say taking the children to this function and then display an H4 like this with this class, just to give it some margin in the Y direction, up and down, and then the children inside that. So that's all we're doing. And actually, I've just tried this in a browser and I'm getting an error saying this export doesn't exist, get post by slug, and that's because I named it get posts. So I'm just going to update that right now, press save, and hopefully this will work. All right, so let's try one of these out. Let's click on read more. And yeah, we're getting all the content. This is the title, bit of a typo there. We've got the author name, we have the summary, and then the content itself. Also the author name right here as well. Let's try another one. Go down here, Elden Ring speedruns. Yep, everything seems to be working. Awesome.